Good morning and welcome to Microsoft Office Excel Basics. My name is William White and let's begin. So, most of you by now pretty much know what Excel does. It's a extremely handy software that can be used to store and organize lots of data. Uh, you can its features like formulas can help you make tools to make sense of that data. So that's kind of cool too. For example, you can use a spreadsheet to track data and automatically see sums, averages, and totals, which again, if you have a lot of data, you definitely want to kind of like summarize it to actually speak to your needs. So definitely it's something that you want to learn how to use, especially if you are in business, running a business, or most importantly, probably now, if you are interested in actually finding a job, because lots of jobs that you are looking for, they're businesses, and businesses need people who know how to use Excel. Again, some of the general uses for Excel are creating budgets, whether it's for a business or for a household, collecting information from invoices and receipts, or actually creating invoices and receipts as well. You can track your projects, manage them, and track your projects. Also, track your client, customer, and health records, your client, customer spending, and receipts, and things like that. You can create planners and calendars. Create yourself checklists is an easy way to create checklists because of the way Excel is set up, the format of it. And obviously, people in the finance industry use it to do all sorts of calculations. And something as simple as just inventory management. Excel is good for that as well. Again, the way Excel is set up with all the rows and columns kind of organizes things for you. Also, we throw in the fact that you've got the ability to create calculations and formulas and things like that. Makes Excel extremely valuable. Like I said before, it's not just something for business people to only know, it's for people who actually want to work, whether it's someone, if you're interested in graphic designing or anything, even sports. People use Excel and this sort of database management software in pretty much every single avenue of every single industry out there. And if you can show a potential employer that you've got a grasp of it, or at least familiar with it, it's going to make you extremely valuable. And there are lots of ways to actually develop your skills. You obviously practice, but also there are lots of resources online that you can use as well. Lots of fantastic websites you can go to for free to learn some of the basics. And obviously, there are places you can go to online also that you can pay for as well to learn things about Excel. So, do your research, do your due diligence, get out there, learn some things about Excel. I'm going to try to show you a few things today here, but again, this is just a few things here. This is just the beginning. There are lots and lots of things that you can learn in Excel. If you've used Excel before, especially if you've used the 2010 version of it, then you will be extremely familiar with what you see and what you hear. If you've used Excel in the later versions, say 2013 and later, the newer versions, then it opens up just a little bit differently than it did in 2010. For example, in 2010, when you clicked on the icon to open the app, it automatically went to that blank document or that blank worksheet. In 2013 later versions of Microsoft Office's apps, for example, Excel, when you click on the Excel icon to open it up, it'll take you to a Backstage View, and we'll show you that in a second. Again, most of you already know that what you're looking at when you're working in Excel that screen, that's called a worksheet. If you are using a bunch of worksheets, then you're putting together basically a workbook. Okay? And again, when you click on the icon to open up Excel, you're going to get something that looks like this. This is your Backstage View, which allows you to actually do something called using, it'll actually allow you to use a template to create your document. For example, maybe you want a nice customized look for your document because you have to do a presentation, or you want to send it to someone. So you can use one of the templates that Microsoft Office has in its library to create your document. However, if you are like most people, you're going to probably want to start with a blank workbook or a blank document. So you can always click on that little icon for your blank workbook. You can do that through the Backstage View page, or obviously your File tab. If for some reason that pops up, you can click New, or you can just click on the image of the blank workbook. When you do that, you're gonna obviously get something that you are and we are familiar with. This is your worksheet screen, and your worksheet screen, just like Word and PowerPoint and the other apps, uses a ribbon. The ribbon is that long green and gray strip at the top of the page. Inside that, you'll notice little icons and pictures. Those are called commands. Commands are all the things that you can do inside of your document. At the very top, where I mentioned earlier, the green strip, that beginning or to the left on the green is your quick access toolbar. So your quick access toolbar allows you to actually access some of the common commands like printing, emailing, file location, file locators, and it's also got everyone's friend, your undo arrow. So don't forget about that. Below the quick access toolbar, you've got your tabs: file, home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, and so on. Those words, those are actually tabs. If you click on one of them, it's going to change the ribbon below. And when it does that, when it changes the ribbon below, it also changes the commands inside of that ribbon. So each tab, file, home, insert, and so on, they've got different commands inside of them. The reason why this is done is because obviously there's not enough space on your screen to show you all the commands that are available to you. So that Microsoft needs a place to hide them for convenience. Okay. Below your tabs, your file, your home, your insert, and your page layout, you've got, again, your regular ribbon. And inside your ribbon, it's all the commands that you'll need to perform and actually build your worksheet. And obviously you can just hover above one of the commands, and when you do that, it will tell you what it is and what it does. Below your ribbon, you'll notice 3 boxes, 3 fields here. The field to the left, that's called your name box. Your name box tells you the location of your active cell. And the longer box, field, to the right, that's your formula bar. Your formula bar is where you can actually enter your data, your information, whatever it is that you want to put inside your worksheet. You can also do that inside the active cell, which is the cell that's outlined in dark green. So your active cell and your formula bar work together, so you can type in your information in either one of those two. Below that area, you've got obviously your worksheet. Your worksheet is actually created by combining columns and rows. The columns and rows actually combine to make an active cell, that green, that outlined green cell there. So columns are indicated or indicated by letters, and the rows are indicated by numbers. So again, column A, column B, column C, and so on. and rows, you've got 1 through whatever. So the letters for the columns and the numbers for the rows, they'll combine to make a cell. For example, what we have here, the outline cell here is A1. A represents the column, and 1 represents the row. They combine to make a cell. That cell is called A1. And they say pretty much it's pretty consistent that for the most part, most worksheets can contain up to or even more than 2,500 cells. So you should have plenty of space for your data. And they say that the amount of cells in your workbook pretty much depends on how much space you have in your computer. So that can be possibly in the millions when it comes to cells. All right, below your worksheet here, this gray strip at the bottom, that's your status bar. Inside your status bar, you notice that you have some tabs here. You see one of the tabs called Sheet 1, the other one is called Sheet 2, Sheet 3. And what those are your worksheets. What you can do is if you created a worksheet, you can either double click on where it says Sheet 1, or you can right click on Sheet 1, and you can rename the worksheet. Okay. Also, you notice that to the right where it says Sheet 3, there's a circle with a plus inside of it. That's how you open up another worksheet. For example, you've got 3 possible now, maybe you need 4. So you can click on that little circle with the plus inside of it and open up Sheet 4. Okay. To the right of that area, you've got the area where you can control your print and your view layouts, and you can zoom in and zoom out. And obviously you get your scroll bar. The more data and the more columns and rows you have, the shorter the scroll bar is going to be to allow you to actually scroll up and down more. And again, whenever you are actually working with Excel, you are definitely creating content for yourselves. So, like you've heard before, definitely play around with entering information, play around with your commands so you can see how that affects the information or your worksheet, and get comfortable with it. And don't forget that you can't break anything. And you can also always use your Mr. Undo. And again, here, this is just explaining the fact that your cells are created by combining columns and rows. And also, let's not forget the fact that one of the most important things that Excel does is it creates shortcuts for you to save your time. And one of the ways it saves your time is by allowing you the ability to select certain amounts of information without having to type it in. For example, maybe you wanted to, we can talk about calculations, maybe you want to calculate or just cut and paste maybe 20 items out of your worksheet. The ability to be able to grab those 20 items without having to actually grab them individually one by one is a time saver. And you can do that by actually grabbing a group of cells called a cell range. For example, let's say I wanted to copy a row or a column of numbers and paste them someplace else, in some other document, some other app. So I can do that by just clicking inside of the first cell with the first piece of information that I want to copy, click and hold, and drag it down the length of the information that I want to collect. And that will basically select that cell range, that column's worth of cell range for you. And you can do that for a row as well. You can click inside the first row that you want to copy, click, hold it down, and drag it the length or the distance that you want to copy and paste someplace else. So again, whether you're copying and pasting or you just want to identify a certain amount of information, being able to grab that through the cell range movement is extremely valuable when it comes to saving time. And it doesn't just have to be a column or row. You can actually save a block or do a cell range block as well. And this actually will come in handy a little bit later when we actually try to create a chart. And again, inputting information inside the cell is extremely simple. Just click on the cell that you want to insert something, your data inside of. Or if you've already got some information or already have a worksheet and you just need some information out of the worksheet, grabbing that information is simple. Again, just how we did earlier with the cell ranges. Maybe we want to actually collect first and last names of customers. So we can click inside of the first cell of information that we want, hold it down and drag it the length or distance that we want to collect, and we've selected that cell range. And again, if you just wanted to just make another entry inside the worksheet that you've already created, you just click inside that cell that you want to enter some information inside of and type the information that you want to have inside that cell. Extremely simple stuff. More than likely though, I'm sure all of us were comfortable with just typing in information, data entry. That's simple. Most of us probably are a bit more hesitant when it comes to saying, or rather creating calculations and formulas. So, and again, one of the things that makes Excel kind of cool is the fact that we'll discuss this in a few minutes. It has commands that actually create and calculate information for you. That way you don't have to do it yourself. If it's a simple addition, you can do that by actually selecting one of the commands. I'll show you that in a little bit. But really, probably the best thing for most of us is really knowing how that action works. So here we're showing you basically what the operators are in Excel whenever you want to do a calculation. For example, if you're doing a simple addition, you just want to add up two numbers, you can just use the plus symbol, and you can use the one on your number pad on the right of your keyboard. If you're doing the subtraction for two numbers, you can just use the dash. If you're multiplying, you can use the asterisk, and division is the /. Simple stuff. So again, the best way to learn and to just feel more comfortable with what's going on inside of formulas and calculations is knowing actually how to create a formula. In Excel, if you want to do a formula, if you want to create a formula, all formulas begin with the equal sign. So again, if you want to calculate something, it always has to start with the equal symbol. Okay. For example, let's say we've got two numbers that we want to add. We want to add the June budget here inside this little example, and we want to add the July budget together. So we want to add 1,200 and 1,500 together. So what you want to do then is click in the cell that you want your answer to be in. And remember, all formulas start with the equal symbol. So you're going to type in the equal sign. Then you're going to select the first number that you want to be inside your formula, which is 1,200. So you're going to click on 1,200. So again, this is important to remember. You're going to click on the 1,200. You're not going to type in 1,200 because Excel recognizes cells. It doesn't really so much recognize outstanding numbers, so it recognizes the cell that the number is in. So it will recognize, for example, D10. So we're going to click on D10, and that puts 1,200 represented by D10 inside of our formula. Then we're going to click on the plus symbol. Once we click on the plus symbol, we're going to click on the second number we want to put inside of a formula, which is the 1500. And the 1500 is represented by D11. So we click on D11. Now this is how the formula reads. We want D12 to be equal to D10 plus D11. Okay? And to calculate, when you're done with entering your data, your information inside of a cell, to calculate it, you hit the enter key on your keyboard. Hit enter, and that gives you your answer, 2700. D12 is 2700. Again, all formulas start with the equal sign, and you want to click on these cells that have the information that you want to put inside of your formula. Don't type in the numbers. For example, do not type in 1200. Just click on the cell that has 1200 inside of it. Okay. And if for some reason you can't see your answer, it could just mean that your column or your column is too narrow, too short. So you can just expand the column. Again, keeping with the theme of how Excel saves you time, you've probably all noticed that at the bottom right corner of the active cell, that cell that's outlined in green, there's a little plus, or a little box rather. That little green box is called a fill handle. Fill handle is cool because it saves you time. One of the ways it saves you time is the fact that it can copy a formula and apply it to multiple cells. So for example, we've already created a formula that basically multiplies 15 times $8.75 in D4. So D4 has the formula that multiplies 15 times $8.75, which equals $131.25. So what we can do once we've done the calculation for that, we've hit enter and we've calculated 131.25. We can click and hold on that little green box on the active cell. And once we get the little black plus there, we've got it. And we can click it and drag it the distance of rows that we want to apply or copy that formula to. So we want to copy to an additional 3 more rows. So we'll drag it down 3 rows and let it go. When we let it go, it did the work for us. Again, a time saver. Instead of us having to actually type in 18 times 259 and 9 times 1425 and 12 times 299, we can just click on our fill handle and it does all the work for us. Again, definitely something to play around with because sometimes people have a problem, grabbing that little square, that little fill handle. But again, play around with it until you get it right. Again, definitely a time space saver, especially if you have lots of data. Okay? And that's not the only thing fill handle does, but that's one of the first things that you should learn. And functions are basically predefined formulas. And again, remember earlier I said that there's a command on your ribbon that basically does an addition and does adding and things like that for you. Again, that command does things like sum, averages, and does a count for you as well as part of a function. And you'll see here where it says the word arguments, that's kind of like some of the language that Excel speaks and recognizes. Here we've got an example of actually adding up lots of numbers. For example, or actually, remember I said earlier, if you were just adding up 2 numbers, you can just use the symbol that represents what you're trying to do. However, if you're adding up more than 2 numbers, you don't want to have to, type 20. For example, here we want to add up 20 items. We don't have to type 20 items, A1 plus A2 and A3 plus A4 and so on. We want to use a shortcut to do the work for us, again, to save us time. And that shortcut for adding up multiple things is using the word sum. So again, remember all formulas start with the equal symbol, the equal sign. So type in the equal sign, then you type in the word sum. which is a function, adding. When you type in sum, it'll kind of pop up underneath the original sum. There'll be a little blue sum in a square box. You can click on that, and that basically inserts it into your formula for you. Once you type in the word sum, you've clicked on it, then you can go do your cell range grab. You can grab, click inside of, and you know, select your cell range for the numbers that you want to add, which for us is A1 through A20. So we click in A1, drag it all the way down to A20, and that's going to input those that data inside of our formula. So our formula will be this, for example. We want A21 to be equal to the sum of A1 through A20. Hit enter and it'll give you answer. Here we've got an example of we want to find an average of this column of numbers in column B. So we want to find the average of B1 through B9. Again, if we're typing in our formula, we'll type in the equal sign, then we'll type in the word average, which is another function that Excel recognizes. Type in average, it'll pop up underneath there. When it does, you click on it. That way it inserts it into the formula for you. When you do that, then you grab your numbers. So we'll click inside B1, drag it all the way down to B9. And now our formula, or our formula reads like this. We want B10 to be equal to the average of B1 through B9. Hit enter, and it gives us our answer. You can also do that across different columns and rows. They don't have to be in one column, one row, or side by side. Obviously, you can use your control key, and you can grab numbers or data or information from different areas to include inside of your formula, which we have here. So you can add numbers in different areas on your worksheet. And again, creating functions is pretty simple, especially if you already know the words. For example, we just discussed that if you want to add up multiple numbers, you can use the word sum. If you wanted to actually multiply, for some crazy reason, multiple numbers, you can use the word product. If you were dividing, which is really even more crazy, lots of numbers, you can use the word quotient. And here we've got obviously average, count, max, and minimum. And here is that command I was talking about earlier, the command that actually does a lot of the hard work for you. The auto sum command that's on your ribbon. So for example, if you wanted to add up a column of numbers, select the column of numbers, or just click inside the cell and click inside the cell at the bottom of that column of numbers that you want to add up and the cell that you want your answer to be in, then click the auto sum command, and you'll notice that it sticks a formula inside that cell that you want your answer to be in. Hit your enter key and it'll add up those numbers for you. Now, for example, here we've got a line total, column numbers of money that we want to add up. So we'll click inside the cell that we want our answer to be in. Hit the auto sum command. It puts the formula in that cell for us. And hit enter and it gives us our answer. $765.29. Again, don't be afraid to play with the commands, the formulas, calculations, entering data. Play around with it so you're comfortable with it, so you know you're not damaging the program, so you're confident in what you're doing. Get some repetitions in the Excel exercise. Earlier we talked about how Excel makes things easy for you and saves you time. Another thing that Excel does, it actually helps you to explain numbers easier too by creating charts. Because again, lots of us, me included, just looking at numbers and trying to figure out or know what they mean can be a challenge. But if you can if a person can visualize the comparisons and the information that you're trying to get across to your audience, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes pictures are worth 1,000, in this case, numbers. Making charts in Excel is extremely easy. You just got to get used to it. And two things. One, remember this, whenever you want to make a change to anything in Microsoft Office, you always have to select it first. So you want to select the data that you want to actually put or include inside your chart. So do that first always. And then actually to create a chart, you're going to go to your ribbon. First, here we've selected the data that we want to put inside of our chart. So we've clicked inside of the A1 and dragged all the way through F6. Then we go to our ribbon. On our ribbon, we have an Insert tab. Inside the Insert, when you click the Insert tab, inside there, you'll notice a command area, command group for charts. That command group has different sorts of charts that you can create. So we want to do maybe a bar graph kind of chart. So we'll click on that one. It's going to give us more options to customize our chart. We'll click on what we want, 2D, 3D, what have you, sideways bars. Once we do that, Excel is going to input that chart that we selected inside of our worksheet. And what's cool about that is once you actually create a chart inside of Excel, you'll notice that 2 additional tabs pop up on your ribbon. Those 2 additional tabs allow you to further customize your chart, whether that's changing the legend around, changing the colors, the shade, the way it looks, the background, or even certain information. Maybe you put some of the wrong information in one of your cells. So you can do that. And again, this chart definitely makes a person sit up and kind of see the difference between certain things. And you'll have people nodding, shaking their heads because they now understand what you're talking about as opposed to just looking at that worksheet. Powerful stuff. Like I said before, definitely check out online resources to learn more and to get some hands-on experience. There are some fantastic, actually, resources out there. A couple of them, like Allison and Linda, they offer free classes and programs for you. Also, another one that I kind of steer people toward is the Goodwill one, the GCF Global. That's pretty good. It's pretty simple to understand, and it walks you through the basics of Microsoft Office. So check that one out as well. It's 2021. I'm going to change this, but try not to get too frustrated. Hang in there. There's help out there for you. If you're interested in learning more about any of the Microsoft workshops, reach out to us. We have some fantastic workshops coming up this month, whether it's LinkedIn or Master Job Search. Check out our website, jobsforpeople.org. Or if you have a specific question about something, reach out to me, white@jjc.edu. Thank you guys. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you later.